Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Now listen to me. Old girl is in the hospital. She done gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, and her parents are asking her when she gonna call the baby's daddy. So she waits a few minutes and she picks up the phone and she dials his number and she calls him and she tells him that her parents are at the hospital and that she's given birth to a daughter, his daughter. And at first, she thought she heard excitement in his voice. And she asked him, "Are you going to come by the hospital?" And he said, "I told you to take care of it." And you know, when you're talking on those phones, right, you know, depending on how loud they are, whatever the case may be, you can make out what somebody is saying, right? And her dad heard, or thought he heard, this baby's daddy say that, "I told you to take care of it." He thought that's what he heard. And he said to her, because he's reading her face and her body language, and he said, "What did he just say?" And she looked at her dad and not knowing what to say because she was shocked because she had had the child. She knew how he felt, but she thought that he would change his mind. He would change his heart. And she didn't know what to say to her dad. So her dad, he grabbed the phone. He said, young man, you have a child with my daughter. Are you going to come by this hospital to see your daughter?" And Ryan told him, he said, "No, I'm not coming by there to see that child. It's not my child." So Ryan hung the phone up. Now, her pops is looking down at her, and he takes a look over at his wife, and you know, she's still holding her granddaughter, and he hangs up the receiver of the phone, and he said, "We're going to talk about this later." He didn't want to hurt her any more than she had just been hurt. This is her daddy, y'all. This is her daddy. And he had to hear this man that she say that she just had, you know, had this baby by, say that he ain't the daddy. Think about what that would feel like for a father to hear somebody say about his daughter when she's saying that this is him. They've never met him, though. They've never met him. And he didn't want to say anything to hurt her anymore, and not that moment anyway. So the next day, you know, they checked out everything, and the hospital said that, you know, everything was fine, healthy baby girl, and they could go home. So they took her home, and they told her she's going to stay with them for the foreseeable future, you know, and get everything together, right? She still kept up her place, her apartment, but they wanted her to stay there because they knew that this was going to be a trying time. She had a newborn, and she had the father that didn't want anything to do with her. So they didn't want her to be alone with this situation. They wanted her to know and feel the support that was around her. So all her girlfriends come over, they see the baby and all this. And when the parents run around, when her parents run around, they would whisper and talk about, "What is Ryan saying? What's going on? What's this? What's that?" And she would tell them, "He's saying he don't want nothing to do with her. He's denying her." And see, now I'm going to tell you something. You know how some good girlfriend, so you got some girlfriend to be over there, and they be like, "You need to get him, girl. You need to light him up. Put him on child support. Don't let him do you like that. He running around here with all that money and this and that and the third, and he don't want to take care of his baby. He know that's his baby." And all that old kind of stuff, right? And the last thing any dope boy wants is to be up in a courtroom. You don't want to be up in a courtroom for nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with being a criminal situation, but you don't want to be in front of no judge. You don't want to be around no police, no bailiffs, no nothing. You don't want that. And she understood that because of his lifestyle. She didn't want to put him in a situation where he had to be dealing with no courts. She understood that. So she kept calling him and kept calling him, kept calling him and telling him, "Look, I'm going to need some help." And he says to her the same thing that he said the first time. "You didn't take care of that baby. You didn't take care of it. It's not my baby. And you on your own." So after a while, she started getting a little backbone about herself. She getting mad because, when you become a mother, you know what I'm saying? You a parent, you understand, especially a mother, your instincts kick in. It's all about this baby. I don't know what he talking about. She got angry. And she told him, she said, look, don't make me take you to court. You better help take care of this baby. Better help take care of her. And she was mad at him because she was like, you don't even want to know what her name is, but her name is Renee. That's her name. Her name is Renee. He hung up the phone. The next call that she got from him, check this out. The next call she got from him, this is what happened. You have a collect call from an inmate at such and such county jail. To accept this call, please press 0. Her heart sank. She pressed 0. Said, hello? He said, I need you. She said, what do you need me to do? He said, I need you to go to the spot and get some money and come down here and get me out. She did not hesitate. She got up. She went and told her parents she had to go on a run real quick. She'll be back. She went to the spot that he directed her to go to. She got the money. She went down there with a bondsman and bonded him out. And he was hugging and kissing her, telling how much he appreciated and loved her and all this and that. And he said, we're going to be a family. We're going to be a family. So she drove down and separate. So, you know what I mean? He left with the bondsman because the bondsman was somebody that he knew and he already had a lawyer on deck. So he went to talk to the lawyer and she went home and he said, I'll be by later. I want to meet your dad and your mama. She's excited. I mean, when I say excited, she's excited because he's finally come around. If this what it's going to take for him to get it right, then I'll take it. That's what she was saying. I'll take it. Now he's finally woke up and now she goes home and she getting, little Renee ready, you know what I'm saying? Because, them baby, they still be sleeping, but she don't care. She cleaned up, put on a little dress. You know how they get the little bit of dresses on them and all of that. Renee, this little baby don't care nothing about none of that. Leave me alone. Let me sleep. She don't know nothing about she finna meet her dad or nothing. She don't think nothing about that. So look, Ryan is down there talking to his lawyer and telling his lawyer what the issue is and all this and that, right? And the lawyer tells him, I can get this beat. You ain't even got to show up for court. I get this thrown out. You know what I'm saying? Just give me such and such. So Ryan tell him, I had the money to you tonight. He said, no, just bring it to me tomorrow. Ryan said, no, I'm going to get this money to you tonight because you saying I don't have to show up, I'm not going to even be back. I'm finna go. I got to get out of town. He said, just make sure I can contact you in case you got to come back and go in front of this judge. But he said, other than that, I'm going to get this thrown out. You ain't even going to have to show up, man. That's just that on that. You ain't even going to have to show up. So his lawyer went to work. Renee, she's at home, done got ready about, her mama done got her ready. She laying there, been up 2 or 3 times, burping and all this and that, and then going back to sleep. She don't know what's going on. Oh, girl, her parents was like, what's up? What's going on? And she told him, he's coming by tonight. He wants to meet y'all. So I got Renee up, got her dressed and all this. And so her daddy, he ready. He fired up like a smoker. He ready. He mad. He want to meet this man. And what's the change of heart? Why did he decide to want to come by now? He's asking his daughter all kinds of questions. And she really don't have no answers because she don't want to tell him. She just bonded him out, on the dope case. She don't want to tell him that. She's like, he'll talk to you about all of that when he get here man to man. So now, 1 hour go by, 2 hours go by, 4 hours go by. Renee done been up, change, sleep again, up, change, sleep again. And old girl just sitting there in the rocking chair. She's getting angry. She's getting real angry. Her dad and mama, they don't want to bed. Pops already know what it is. He was like, look, he's not coming. So she picks up the phone and she calls. This number has been disconnected and is no longer in service. Oh, she 5 all hot now. I'm talking about pissed off. pissed off. So she called the bondsman. She asked the bondsman, she said, "Where's Ryan?" The bondsman said, "He's gone." "Gone where?" "He gone home." The lawyer said he gonna take care of it. He ain't even gotta show up. He left tonight after he dropped that money off. She didn't say a word. She didn't say thank you or nothing. She just hung up the phone. And she sat there rocking Renee all night. Tears running down her face. Not letting the sound of her crying come out of her mouth because she don't want to wake up her baby. But she's sitting there, she crying all night. She didn't even realize what time it was when her daddy walked into the room and she was still sitting there. And the tears were dried up on her face, but she still had fresh tracks of tears coming down her face. She had been crying in silence for hours. For hours. Because she knew that something wasn't right. How do I explain to my parents who he is and why he didn't come by and all this and that? How do I explain this to Renee? She's thinking about all of that at one time. It's too much. So she hands, Renee off to her dad and she said, "I need to get some rest." And he told her to go to bed. They got her. Now, Renee waking up, you know how them baby do. She ready to play, eat, all of this old kind of stuff. She ain't even thinking about her mama. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. You know what I mean? A baby wants to be fed, played with, changed, and put to sleep. You feel me? Who does it, they ain't really locked in on that yet. You see what I'm saying? So, Pops takes the baby, you know what I'm saying? That grandmama, she want to play with the baby. You know what I'm saying? They feeding the baby and playing with the baby and having fun, and at the same time having a conversation about old gal. And Pops, he summarized, he said, "Man, something ain't right here. She don't want to tell us nothing about this dude." And at this particular time, y'all, the dope game was blowing up. It was blowing up back in the day. You feel me? So he started thinking, you think that she might be messing with some of these boys in the streets? And her mama was like, we raised her better than that. She ain't gonna be fooling with these people out here. But Pops was like, why won't she tell us anything about him then? And then all of a sudden, she just pop up, go get him, talk to him. He say he on his way, and he never shows up. She said, Pops said, don't nobody do that, man, but people that live in the streets. And she looking at him like, how you know? And he tell her, I know. Ain't no man that's a father to a child not gonna show up after all this time and then lead around like that unless it's something foul about this person. Something off about this person. And then the mama looking at him and she's like, well, I hope you're wrong. But in the meantime, in between time, whoever he is, he gonna take care of this baby one way or the other. That's what the mama's saying. You know, that grandmama, she ain't playing. So Renee gets some sleep. She gets up, you know what I'm saying, a little bit after noon, after 12 that day, and she walking around the house and she's playing with the baby and all this and that. You know, Renee happened to be awake at that particular time. And then the conversation is taking place. They want to know who he is, where he is, and how do they get him into court. And see, she's ready now. So she sits down and she tells her parents everything from A to Z. Everything. And her daddy was pissed. I'm talking about he was so mad, he wanted to get in the car and go get him. He wanted to go get him. You know how that would be? Think about that kind of conversation. Your daughter telling you somebody done beat her, trying to make her have a miscarriage, and then strung her along throughout the pregnancy, and then don't even want to show up, but then use her to come bail him out of jail, and then he get on down out of town. He gone. He's gone. Nowhere to be found. So she reaches out to his mom. She was able to find his mom. And she tells his mom, she said, look, I had a baby. I had a baby by him. His mom don't want to hear it. She don't believe none of that. Because he ain't told her that. She ain't a mean person, but he ain't told her that, and she know what her son do. So all kind of girls done made this allegation. So she hangs up the phone, but she tells him, look here, some girl done said you got a baby by her. You need to check on that and make sure that's right. Because she wanted to know if she had a granddaughter somewhere out there. She wanted to know that, but she wanted to ride with her son. He assured her that it wasn't true. He assured her of that. But here's the thing. You know, when you get arrested, right? All that stuff is documented and on paper, right? And when she filed those papers with her lawyer for child support, she told him that he had been arrested and they got his information down at the jail. They got all of it. They got it all. And then they got all the information about who his lawyer was. And they popped him down for child support. They kept going back and forth trying to arrange the times and stuff like that. He never would show up. So the judge just issued the order for child support that he had to pay. Popped him. But see, his story is taking a big turn down there where he's at. You know what I'm saying? Big turn. And you're going to have to tune in to see what that's about. Because it's coming, I'm telling you. It's coming. It's going to get good. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. And I say peace, y'all.